What's good, everybody? It's Monday. No case of the Mondays for the DOC. I'm here to recap a steamy Day 7 Detroit Lions training camp practice. Stars are out. John Gruden from Barstool Sports, NFL Network, Cynthia Freeland was there. Was Doc all over the cameras again? Did I make an effort? Just casual. NFL Network did some interviews with Jahmyr Gibbs. You'll check it out. You'll see DJ Reed, Jamison Williams. Another day that ends in Y, another JMO highlight in a one-on-one red zone drill. We're going to talk all about it, what I saw out there. It went by pretty quick in regards to the competitive periods. Only 2 units got to have a competitive period, led by Jared Goff and Kyle Allen. Hendon Hooker threw a pick to a new cornerback. The stars were out, and they were off the field and on the field as well. I'm the doc, John Macaroon, here again every day. That's the mission, to bring you what happened at training camp. Let's go. Ask your questions. And, whenever there's a time where you need friends, you need people to step up in crunch time, you call them up and you say, hey, let's talk. So maybe there'll be a guest today on this episode, talking football, debates. We'll have a good time over the next hour or so. Like, subscribe. Thank you. You guys have been doing wonderful. People are noticing. A reporter came up to me and was like, man, you talk for an hour and 45 minutes by yourself. Yeah, I can do it. The second half wasn't as good. And I do apologize for the audio only listeners. I got to get better knowing that there's a live stream going on. I got to read the comments. I was editing the podcast. That's why I trimmed it a little bit, because I wasn't reading the questions. So now I know that if I highlight something, got to ask those questions so that the audience that's listening on audio only can get it. But I'm learning. Thank you, Brent, I appreciate it. Hey, Doc, appreciate the updates and your hard work. No doubt about it. I want to bring you right to the forefront. I'm there, you're there. That's the philosophy. That's the deal. I'm there, you're there. That's because you're a goated, Doc. My mom's name is Booner. Nice. So, yeah, it was a fun time. And right away, we'll kick it off. And if you guys listened yesterday, I actually, technically without knowing it, we together in the community found out about the release of Stanley Thomas Oliver before everybody else. How do I know that? Well, we were live on the air going, all right, I need to know who's number 38. I went to the Lions website. He wasn't there. They literally took him off the website as we were recording. So we knew, and I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. One of you guys in the chat, great effort, was like, hey, it's Stanley. And I'm like, oh, yeah, he's not there. What's going on? I thought it was just some oversight by, my assumption was, it was just another oversight by some tech guy. We were looking at a player that was no longer there. Good on you guys. And so now I'll pay attention. If we're on the air and we're looking at the Lions website and a player is not there, it's a wrap. So Stanley Thomas Oliver gone, and we got somebody new. And what's great is that we're all looking like, hey, there's another 38 already. And he already looks better than who was previously there wearing that number. Nick Whiteside made plays today. He got out there and got after it. It's pretty good, right? He gets out there day one, and the first rep that he had in competitive period, he got told, hey, that's not what we do here. And then he picked it up right away. He got the message loud and clear and picked it up. He had a play on Hendon Hooker, made an interception. I like the signing. I think it's competitive. I think he's got a chance to make some plays, and he already started to showcase what he was about. Good deal. Was a 2-time Division II All-American in college, securing 12 interceptions in 43 games. After going undrafted in 2023, signed with the Commanders and spent the year on their practice squad. He's a Michigan native. Made his regular season debut in Week 17 of 2023. He had some time with the UFL. Dan Campbell was asked a question and said that, hey, anytime a football player puts film out there, it's a good opportunity to see what he's about. And he played with the St. Louis Battlehawks. So it's a nice opportunity. And you can also see on that same story, the Lions made some personnel moves as well. So go check out Lions on SI. You can see some of the new personnel moves that were made in that same story about the new cornerback. And he made some plays. Out with the old, in with the new. 38, new. Made some plays today. Cody gets in. Thanks, Doc. Did you see Gruden there today? Well, I welcome you to the hub of the operation at Detroit Podcast. Not only did I see Gruden, I was like, I'm taking this over. I'm like, I'm going to ask Gruden some questions that I know I need to know about. I asked Gruden directly about Jared Goff, and he landed a massive, massive comparison. Massive. Put that on our Twitter page at Detroit Podcast. And afterwards, I'm like, I got to get one more in there. I'm like, John, what do you think about working with Barstool? So, unfortunately, the television reporter just couldn't wait to get their question in, and Gruden was flowing about Goff, and he was thinking his way through, and they just had to just jump in, which is fine. I get it. I've done that before, so they get a pass. But there could have been more praise from John Gruden into the camera, but his question got cut off, which I aired. You can see it, or it has been aired. So I asked John Gruden not one, but two questions. So in essence, John Gruden met the doc today, and very friendly. He's got that aura. He's got that football aura. He walks up, commands a room. He just knows how to handle business. So that was fun. That was very fun to see John Gruden out there. And great questions. So I'll just get right to the banner then. He knows how to command a room. The reason why John Gruden's out there is because he's a mentor to John Morton. They're close. He's going to spend the next couple of days here. So I said, okay, they're asking him about the offense and what they think and John Morton. And I'm like, all right, that's good stuff. Good questions. And I'm like, John, what do you think? You know, you've watched Jared Goff. He's a quarterback, enter his prime. What do you think? Because John Gruden's an offensive mastermind. And he's like, oh, he knew what he was doing. He's like, I don't want to make comparisons, but he knew the cameras were on. Slick. I don't like to make comparisons, but if I make one, let's just compare Jared Goff to Joe Montana. And I was just like, and you can see another reporter, when you see the film, he's like, whoa, you go, Jared Goff, Joe Montana. That's no small feat. So you can see that directly. I aired most of it at Detroit Podcast. So that was fun. Let us know. Hit the likes, up those likes. The more you do that, the more I can go, the more guests I can bring, more people notice. Hit those like buttons, notifications. If you want your question right to the front of the line, add a super chat. We'll see it and highlight it to everybody, to the masses. He had aura. And many people were like, why is he here? He's got a relationship with the offensive coordinator, John Morton. And he's somebody that wants to spend some time with one of his close friends. And John Morton has paid quite the respect to John Gruden, and it's gone back and forth. Jared Goff compared to Joe Montana. What do you think about that? Is that a fair, accurate assessment? You know, outside of the big arm, I've been kind of looking at it like Dan Marino. Great player, leader, just maybe hasn't won the big one. Joe, cool, won the big one. Joe has the legendary pass to, you know, that's been highlighted across the world. My goodness, the pass heard around the world that just has been seen by so many people. Could that happen again? You know, could that happen? And I posted on X, I said, Jared Goff, one-legged throw to Tesla in the back of the end zone, a la Dwight Clark. Could that happen? Yeah, Coda, it does make sense. Coda gets in, makes sense because Goff always said he grew up looking to Montana. I didn't mean to make a comparison, but I'll just compare Jared Goff to one of the three best quarterbacks of all time in the history of the game. Exactly, Kev. Quite the nod. Wouldn't have happened if the doc wasn't there. I asked it. Vincent says the same thing. What a compliment to Goff. Is that a fair assessment? Is that too much? Let us know in the comments. Let us know what you think after if you see this. Jared Goff compared to Joe Montana. My goodness. Yeah, he held court. He talked about the offense he expects. He got into the nitty-gritty, if you like football. He got into the nitty-gritty of the offense. He actually called some calls that he thinks John Morton is going to use. Corey thinks it's a little too much. I think it's a little too much as well because of the rings that Joe Montana has. So you get into it, and it's a steamy day. Let's get through the good stuff. Let me take you through the practice as it went down before the nitty-gritty. Hot day. Right away, we start seeing who was not there. Kirby's not there. First person, I got out there early today. I said, all right, I want to get out there. And I was one of the first to notice Vaki was back. So that was a good sign. And also, guys, too, whenever there's fans, as a reminder, you can go. And one person, I had to laugh. He said, why are you making it so difficult for your followers? Just tweet the updates. Guys, the X is the center of the hub, but the way in which I keep the lights on, the ability to get compensated for the work that I do is the website. So I teased stuff. I did give a specific play-by-play portion with Hendon Hooker in one scenario, but the updates were given in regards to what was happening today live on the website. And I think most of you in this room know how to click a website. So I just posted back. Thanks for the laugh, man. I'm not making it hard at all. There's only 3 spots to find me: YouTube, my website, si.com/NFL/Lions, which is scrolling across the YouTube every episode, or X at Detroit Podcast. One of those 3, you'll find me. I'm not hard to find. Or you'll find me in one of the pictures that's being showcased about the Lions. It's not hard to find me, but guys, please, you tease a little bit on X because we don't get paid to tweet. It's just, that's why nobody else is doing it. Nobody else is crazy to give it away for free. I'll give you a little understanding of what period it's in. Hey, here's what's going on. Go to the website. But please be considerate that that's where I need to send the audience is during the live practice. Go to the website. I think it's fair, right? Fair trade-off. I'll give you some information on X at Detroit Podcast. A lot of people will just take it. As you can see now, my stuff's getting tagged everywhere, as they properly should. Credit the doc for his work. But please visit the website, is the hub of the operation. No, Theo, you must be learning this from Justin Rogers. No, it's been the same thing. When you go on my X page, a lot of the posts are just links to the website. Why do you think I'm doing that? It's just simple. When you visit the website, you help the doc stay afloat. If you don't, and you want me to give it away for free, I won't be around. I've been around for 8 years covering this team, 7 years, because there's been a website that I've been sending you guys to. So that's why I just laugh a little bit. How come you're making it harder for your fans? It's not difficult. X, little sample, little slice of the pie. The whole pie is on the website. Little warm, Doc? Yeah, I'm still sweating, I think. I got the air down to 69 in the office. I'm still kind of glistening from that practice. My goodness. So let's take you through the practice before I get to a favorite guest that definitely knows how to deliver in crunch time. The practice was great, man. I love it. Nice and warm. Thank you to the 5 to 6 fans that shouted me out. And I apologize. I was just walking right because we had to get right there. So about 5 people as I was leaving, I just said, good to see you. Thank you. Thank you for shouting me out. That was really kind and humbling. So I definitely gave a smile and waved, but I had to run to get to the interviews, run to Gruden, run to everything else. Because as soon as practice ends, we run, we bookend. You'll see the media just fly to the interviews because we got to get a little bit of get the content, get the information, get the videos out to where it needs to go. So the practice was good. I saw Sione Vaki there. Did not see Kirby on the field. He was there afterwards, decked in black. I don't know, man. Kirby and Brad Holmes decked in black. Whew. I don't know, man. You got to lighten up those colors, man. All black on the hottest day. Whew. Brad Holmes decked in black. My goodness. Amik Robertson wasn't there. That stunk. That wasn't cool. You know, I after interviewing him and talking to him on Saturday, I wish to get a chance to see him. It's always a privilege to see him. So Avonte Maddox was definitely getting some opportunities. And, you know, DJ Reed was only limited to the individual drills. And then we get to the tackling drills, which I thought was great. I love seeing the tackling drills where it's one-on-one, mano-a-mano. And the highlight there is Jack Campbell lost his jock to David Montgomery. Not once, but twice. Twice. David Montgomery just made it look easy, like, oh, you want to try this? Boom, boom. And he cut, and Jack went by the wayside. He's going to be mad. He's got to be mad at what he saw in that one-on-one, in that drill. Rock Ya-Sin was awesome. He definitely showcased. He was one of the stars of practice today. Getting after it in the one-on-one drills, breaking up passes, and you're getting after it. You're seeing things go on. After, you'll read about it. Our observations are out, so you can read along on SI as well. Then it went to a period that I think a lot of people like. It's just one wide receiver, a quarterback, and one defensive back. Brian Branch had a nice breakup on Khalif Raymond. Branch broke up a pass to St. Brown. He's just professional. Terry Arnold had a great day. Now, there was a debate, and when you guys see the video, you let us know, because we were on the side there. Hopefully they show it, and they debated. St. Brown caught a pass, tiptoed down. He felt it was in. It was right in front of the fan. So if you saw it, tell us what you think, because we were on the other side a little bit. We were by the goalpost, and we just saw the argument, and we don't know exactly, was it a touchdown? But Terrion said no. St. Brown said yes. But afterwards, forget it. That was activation for St. Brown. St. Brown got pissed and then got activated and started making some plays. It was awesome. St. Brown handled business. Whew, it was fun. It was fun, man. It was fun to be out there to intently watch what was going on. And then it's just Goff was pretty much crisp handling business in the early portion of the time where he just had time to set up and throw. The catch of the day in the one-on-one drill, it was J-Mo. He just looked like he was running a fade, handled business, and beat Rock Ya-Sin on a cut move. Great route running, definitely abused Rock Ya-Sin, caught the touchdown. Everybody wrote that down. Everybody's like, whoa, that's a highlight there. Definitely a highlight for J-Mo in a one-on-one period, and Rock Ya-Sin had no chance. Again, the Blue Bloods. Today was about the Blue Bloods. Aiden Hutchinson, again, a couple periods where he would have had sacks and done some things. Craig Reynolds had a good practice. Rookie of the day, Tesla continues to shine, man. He continues to grind. Tesla continues to get his name up there. I'm really happy with what I see from Dan Jackson. There's up and downs in development. He can move. He can fly. He's got good footwork. There are times where, he's out of position or there's some things he can work on. But I like Dan Jackson, but I think Tesla is just continuing to steadily get better, make his presence felt, make himself available. Now, the 7-on-7 periods, the periods today were a lot of work in the red zone. First time in camp, started with 7-on-7s, and Goff connected for about 4 touchdowns on the 7 plays. Again, 7-on-7 made for the offense. There were times where there's some incompletions to Gibbs. But then whenever there was an incompletion, he'd find his go-to guy, which was either St. Brown or Sam Laporta. One time he threaded the ball like unbelievably between the linebacker and Terry Arnold, and boom, connected with Sam Laporta. It was nice, man. The connection, like I said, all camp between the Lions quarterbacks and their tight ends has been stellar. And Kyle Allen, a little bit of a struggle. Maurice Norris got an interception on Kyle Allen. Right there. Threw it right to him. But then he found Jackson Meeks right afterwards. So it's like a play happens, you write it down, you get after it, and then boom, they just go right to the next play. Shane Zylstra had some nice receptions in the 7-on-7 period. Big target, big body tight end that the players definitely like. Hendon Hooker and Shane Zylstra definitely have a nice connection through camp. So does Hendon Hooker and Jackson Meeks. I like the red zone periods. You like the work that was done there. I think one of the nice plays that you're going to see is and read about is Tim Patrick and the offense completely fooled the defense. It was wild. Tim Patrick was lined up to the right, and Jared Goff fakes it to the right side, and then Tim Patrick is left wide open. I think Terrion and a safety had miscommunication, and Tim Patrick is just scampering. You're not going to see it too often where Tim Patrick's just going to be in the end zone, just scampering with nobody within 10 yards of him. Great offensive scheme there, and you get the touchdown. Corey says, how did your boy Davenport do today? Professional. Him and Aiden are pressuring the quarterback. They're getting after it. Now, Goff didn't have the best end to practice because they ended with situational periods. The first team offense, it was about maybe kind of, you could perceive it as a second quarter scenario on their own 30-yard line with about 75 seconds left. The defense gets the win in the first reps because Goff was miscuing to an open JMO, the second pass, and the first pass was to Jahmyr Gibbs. And Gibbs got out into the flat and was open, beat Alex Anzalone, but Goff couldn't hit him. Then the same thing, JMO was working, and it unfortunately didn't connect with Williams on Rock Ya-Sin. And Goff overthrew it, didn't connect. Brian Branch in that series got a blitz, or got pressure, and got home clean. DJ Reader forced an incompletion on third down. That was that. Second team did a little bit more work. Their situation was different. They were down 4, needing 70 yards to get the win, take over the lead. They were down 24-20 with about a minute and a half on the clock. Allen led the drive, got it to Shane Zylstra, and then Tom Kennedy gets in the mix, and then to end the game, out route to Tom Kennedy, 2 feet in bounds, dunks the football. Kyle Allen for the win. It was fun. Yeah, I do think that Theo Tesla is keeping the details of his knee injury secret. Yeah, I don't think he wants to put that out there for the defense to go target it. And so that's what happened. So a lot of situational periods, red zone period, crisp at times. The defense has been taking advantage. Terry and Arnold doing his thing. Brian Branch doing his thing. And for the more in-depth details of situation by situation, you can go check out Lions on SI. The observations are there. What Brian Branch told reporters afterwards, get your popcorn ready for Jameson Williams. So the takeaways from today, the Stars, when they want to ball out, they'll be Stars. When they want to ball out and they want to ramp it up, look out. It's going to be a fun time. Hendon Hooker was on the third team, Kyle Allen on the second, and they both looked okay, had their moments, but had their situations where the defense was doing some things. I feel like Rock Ya-Sin got himself over a little bit more, got some opportunities to make some plays. So I was impressed with the defense and how they're handling, how they're attacking, and how they're growing from mistakes that are made. I liked what I saw. Now, get to some of your questions before our guest. Red zone work was 7-on-7 in team period around the 20-yard line, and then in 7-on-7 between the 10 and 15. So it's basically just competitive. Like it's very standard, like how Dan Campbell has run it. The team periods are, full team trying to get into the end zone. And then 7-on-7 is a little bit where the quarterback can survey the field. And that was the first reps were just the quarterback and then the receiver going one-on-one. Then you had 7-on-7s in the team period. I disagree. Oh, you know what, Theo? You're right. I thought you meant he won't last long with the Lions. Meeks won't last very long on the practice squad, unfortunately. No, I don't think so either. I think he's a talented player that's going to have a chance to get out there. I think there's opportunities to do some things for a lot of these players. You're right, Theo. Laporta should have been used a lot more last season. He'll get after it this year. He'll get after it. A player that everybody's noticing, VRP6275. Which undrafted player has the best chance to make the 53? I think Keith Cooper, who tried out, who made the team. I think he's just every day steady, slow but steady, doing his thing. Slow and steady, doing his thing, getting his number written down quite a bit. I felt like the defensive tackles, were battling, but the offensive line rebounded a little bit better today than in days past. I felt like Graham Glasgow had some plays where he was beat, but there were opportunities where they pushed the pocket forward a little bit, and the running backs had some more opportunities. So big takeaways: Goff to Laporta's, and the tight ends are great. Tyrion Arnold, Rocky Sin had good days. Derek Barnes quietly. There was almost a scuffle. We almost got the Royal Rumble. Derek Barnes was getting a little physical, not letting go of a player. Guess who got right to his face? Dan Skipper set the tone. Dan Skipper's not letting Derek Barnes touch anybody without getting over there. Big highlight, Tesla mossed cornerback Tyson Russell in a red zone drill. In the red zone drill with just a quarterback and the wide receiver versus a defensive back, Henry Hooker looked very confident in my notes here. It was awesome. My notes here are, it was smooth. It was supposed to practice, supposed to go to 11. Luckily, it was hot. Dan Campbell cut it off at 10:45. And then in the mix there of all those drills, there's special team periods. I think 2 or 3 of them that lasted 5 minutes each. So the special teams takes about 15 minutes, 20 minutes of the practice, which is good because that's when I can gather the notes and plan the show. So people to pay attention to today: Tyrion Arnold, St. Brown, Laporta, Goff in the individual periods. That's going to be tight, Brent. Does Ian Kennelly have a chance? I think it's tight. It's Avonte Maddox and Dan Jackson has the lead right now. I think Dan, a draft pick just always has a leg up. But he has a chance in these games when they come up, for sure. Thank you, Jesse. Keep rocking, Doc. Brent gets in. Tesla didn't learn to use 2 hands to catch until he hit Arkansas. At Hillsdale, they called his hands so arrogant that he refused to use 2 at a time to catch. Listen, he developed, and now he's an NFL player, and he's going to have a chance to compete. He's going to have a chance to compete. So you're going to read a lot about the star players having a good day today. Good professional day of practice. I don't know about tomorrow. Tomorrow might be light after today, but let us know what more you want to see. Tomorrow we're going to probably watch because the fans are there, they're into it, and it's red zone, so the stars are out. Tomorrow I'm going to try, because we went star heavy the first week. 7 days, it's just all about J-Mo, St. Brown, the big guys. And so tomorrow we'll start the process of digging deeper, and maybe our next guest will have insights as well, because he's definitely all about it too. Corey, how do I think Manu's coming along? I wouldn't be comfortable if it's a situation in which he's got to play. He's developing. He's doing what he needs to do. And day by day, it's steady work, but he's raw. Like, he's not ready. Not ready yet for the big time. So you see, I would like Moody, Jamarco Jones, Nice is doing some great things. 75, Colby Sorsdahl has been stuck on the 3rd team. It's tough, man. It's tough for him. I like Kingsley Egwakun. So the reserves are battling. Coyote Awosika doing some good things. So those are the names that are in the mix. Others got to keep working. Manu is, physical presence. He's getting after it as much as humanly possible, but there are reps where fundamental footwork and positioning and the bull rush power of some of the Lions defensive linemen, a little bit tough to handle. Consistency. Basically, it's just stacking days, and Manu has done that consistently where he's stacking days. And so I'm looking forward to this week. Tomorrow, I'm fascinated. We still have basically not gotten a commitment yet who's going to play center at the Hall of Fame game, but it might be a reserve, might be Egwakun, might be Nice. Cologne. We'll see who's gonna have the opportunity. I'm not sure if they're gonna do that to Tate Ratledge. We'll see. We'll see if the opportunity presents itself to get after it at the game. That's the most important thing. We'll have an opportunity with our guests to break down, hopefully, what's been happening at camp and getting after it. Ooh, storms in Macomb. Dark clouds have now fallen in the studio. I'm going to DM5 TV. How is Broderick Martin looking, in your opinion, tomorrow on third team? Because there wasn't a lot of third team situations. It was a lot of stars today. I'm going to look specifically at 99 and his progress. Going to look at how he plays tomorrow. If it's a walkthrough, okay, we'll give an assessment based on how others. Attila just jumped in. Did you talk about Kirby Joseph yet? Why did he miss? We had a chance to talk to Kirby, and he walked off and was like, I'm not talking to you guys, politely. And then he saw the NFL Network cameras, and just like the doc, he likes the cameras, and so he interrupted and basically ran the interview with Jahmyr Gibbs at NFL Network. Steve, with the weather report, it's raining in Macomb. It's coming. So my next guest also resides in Macomb. Got to bring him to the stage. My next guest is the co-host of the wildly popular Crunchtime Sports program. Airs every night, 8 to 10 on all the digital airwaves. He recently was a co-host with his friend Jeff Iafrady. Spin on Sports had me on. So it's my humble opinion. It's far too long that I brought him to the podcast. I've always returned the favor for everybody. And so one of the young stars, young bright minds who's gotten me to do this live, one of the young bright minds who I'm doing work and I'm trying to provide content for you guys. And he's like, do more. I'm like, listen, mofo, there is nobody tweeting as much as me. There's nobody blogging as much as me. What do you mean do more? He is Booner.
Doc, how are you doing?
Man, thank you for taking me up on the invite, man. I got to invite you to the show and talk Detroit Lions football. The people want to see what you bring to the table. Look at you, repping Crunchtime.
Nice polo I got here, right?
Absolutely, Booner, man. Thank you for listen, I enjoy talking ball with people who understand the game, and you're definitely paying attention, and I owed you definitely an invite and to talk ball. But first and foremost, before we get into all that, the fans are paying attention. They knew that you hosted with Jeff. What was that like at the Fisher building? Were you nervous? Bro, you guys, I'll be honest, I'm a harsh critic. You sounded natural. You had great questions.
Thank you.
How'd they get all set up? And what was that like hosting a 3-hour morning radio show? Bro, I ain't down with the 5 a.m. wake-up call, but
man,
out of you boys. You guys did a great 3-hour show, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, Doc. Appreciate you hopping on too. That was big time. We were trying to 3 hours is a lot different than 2. We found out there are commercials, which is nice, but we were like, all right, we have a lot more segments we have to do. So we added you in there, Raj. We had a couple people come on. It was a fun time. Little Doc, a little behind the scenes. I had to wake up at 3:30 to get up there and make sure we were there on time. So it was an early wake up. That was my first time, Doc. And you know what? A lot of people texted me and said, Booner, you sounded good. Jeff sounded good, kind of hosting the whole thing. That was my first time ever on radio. I've never done radio before. Jeff went to school for radio. He went to school, Specs Howard and learned all of the ins and outs, everything with it. I went to school for business, and I started doing this kind of like you, different background, and just started doing this out of the love of the game. And so to be able to be on radio, I mean, walking in, and it's the WJR studios. You're walking around, and I'm like, this is crazy. And then, there's other radio stations going at the same time, but it was cool. And we had a great time. Trey, shout out Trey Emerson, man. But no, it was a fun time, Doc. Appreciate you tuning in. I had a blast. I told Jeff we need to do some more radio. So hopefully Anthony Bellino let us kind of fill in for him if he's ever out again. He allows us to step in there in the morning and hop on the radio waves. That was pretty sweet.
Absolutely. You talked football. You understood what was going on. Most importantly is confidence and being able to deliver what you need to. And that's what happened. And thought the questions were great for our Lions interview. And Spin on Sports, lucky to have you. And it was a good opportunity to get after it. All right. You've been in touch. You definitely are paying attention to the Lions. First 7 days of practice. What's sticking out to you? What are you liking? about what you're seeing with the Lions at training camp so far. A couple padded practices too in the mix.
Doc, I think, and I hope you agree with me on this. One thing that kind of shocked me a little bit is this defense is kind of like today. The defense just keeps standing out, and it's not even just like Aiden Hutchinson. Today when we were at camp, Terrion Arnold, he's standing out. There are just specific guys where you ask like, hey, this guy needs to take a jump for this Lions team to be good. And it feels like every single one of those players is doing that in camp. So that's kind of, for me, the thing that's standing out the most is guys like Terrion Arnold, Jamison Williams, Tate Ratledge, a rookie who everyone's saying has to be good, stepping up. Like it is every single player that you probably wrote about, that we talked about on Crunchtime, that's like, hey, that guy needs to step up if this team needs to take a step forward and continue to be great. They're doing it during camp. And shout out to you for getting us kind of the inside scoop on everything. People know this. I text Doc all day long, and Doc texts me like, go to the website, or he'll just tell me. But no, I think that's kind of the biggest thing is the defense looks really good. Actually, it's more surprising than people think. I think a lot of people are still questioning what the defense can do because the offense has been so good. And I don't think people realize how good Terrion looks, how good Brian Branch looks. Kirby was out, and your guy, is it Hallett stepping up? Like, guys are making plays, Doc. Alex Anzalone's back. Jack Campbell's still in charge. Like, it's crazy what's going on with this defense. I think it's going to be a top 10 defense. That's just the feeling I'm getting in camp so far.
Yeah, smooth transition because Calvin Shepard learned from Aaron Glenn. And I think the bottom line is if they're healthy, they have some talent. And that's one of the things that has a lot of people impressed is that Calvin Shepard's got a lot of energy. He's being aggressive, and you're starting to see some development. Jack Campbell, Terrion Arnold, now Ennis Rakestraw getting back in the mix a little bit more and more. Absolutely. If this defense can shine, my goodness, look out, because the offense, I do think, is going to get after it. And that's right. After this, of course, Booner was always going to have a presence, Trey. Booner on SI, look at you,
go.
Ball dog. And he's wearing the collar based on the professional recommendation of the host. I'm like, you know what? We keep it loose at night. In the daytime, let's be a little bit professional.
And the doc did tell me I can't come on if I don't have a collar on. So he texted me today, said, you want to come on? I said, yeah, I will. And then he just said, collar shirt. All right, got it, doc.
Professional.
Gotcha.
Professional, because like I said, I want to expose you to as many people as humanly possible. And I'm proud of you because
Appreciate
I think you're definitely one of the people that's in tune, and you message because you care and you don't want to put out false information.
Yep.
And you know that if I put it out, you better be like, let me triple check, Doc. Are you sure? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, are you sure? I'm like, yes.
I do. Doc, I do that a lot. Listen, I've been places, and a lot of people make mistakes. I don't want to be one of the ones making mistakes. You've told me, I remember you texted me about a year ago. You said, make sure you have multiple sources if you're putting something out. My multiple sources is you, and I'm checking with you 2 or 3 times.
Exactly.
So once that happens, I'm good to go.
And you should, because it's funny. But yeah, he's like, bro, I'm right in the middle of practice, but I'll try my best to either ignore it or I'll stop with the, hey, go to the website thing. Cause that's funny to me. I just say that to make you laugh too, because I know that you're on X, just making sure that everything's going on. So based on your observations, we're going to put Tesla in the Hall of Fame. You seem to be high on number 18, making plays every single day. Now, look, it's fair to say that he's doing well, but he's also on the second team. He's facing off against guys like Boodle, Rocky Sin. These aren't the, best of the Lions defensive backs, but early on, it's a good sign that he's making plays, he's mossing people, and he's utilizing that big size and frame to get after it. For you, don't have to go with what I think. For you, do you think he has a chance to compete to be wide receiver 4 or battle Tim Patrick by the end of the year to get some targets from Jared Goff? I just think it's a long shot, but hey, as long as he develops and gets after it, stays healthy, and continues to learn in this offense, he's a big-bodied X receiver that can maybe make some plays in some 4 and 5 receiver sets.
Yeah, honestly, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, Doc, I would have to say, I think by the time the season's over, he is your wide receiver 4 and potentially fighting for 3. I wouldn't be shocked if you get halfway through this year and he ends up being that Tim Patrick. The thing that we keep talking about on Crunchtime, Doc, is when you do watch Tim Patrick and Isaac Tesla, Tim Patrick is a little bit older, which it's not like there's nothing he could do about it, right? He's a step slower than he was when he was 24, 25, where Isaac Tesla, he runs a 4.4 and has all of the ability that Tim Patrick has. The only thing he doesn't have or has is the experience. That's it. He just doesn't have the experience. And I don't know where you're at with this. I just think he's making plays. It's not like he's making a play here or there on second team. It's every day. Every single day, there are reports coming out that Isaac Tesla's making 2 or 3 big catches today. Like you said, he had the one in the red zone. He also had it in the situational draw. I don't know if you probably saw it, like a 35, 40-yard catch down the middle from Kyle Allen in a situational drill with 30 seconds on the clock. So it's like he's stepping up in big moments, and he keeps doing it. I think they need to give Isaac Tesla a couple of reps in the first team with Jared Goff just to get an idea. Hey, we're 3 or 4 days into pads now. We know that he's making plays second team. Let's see what he looks like with the ones. And I'm not saying take a bunch away from Tim Patrick, but you do at some point have to get an idea if he's able to do this versus guys like Brian Branch and Kirby and, the Mac Daddy Macaroon. How about that? What a nickname. But no, I do think, Doug, I just think based off of his ability to make plays and how fat, like his speed, at some point he's going to take over from Tim Patrick. And the cool thing about it is I think Tim, and you're there every day, so you probably get to see it. It feels like Tim's taking him under his wing, and he's kind of the one that's telling him like, hey, like this is what you need to do. And he's helping him out through the whole thing. So I would have to say, I think Tim Patrick or Isaac Tesla ends up getting wide receiver 3 by the end of the season. Without a doubt.
What has you concerned so far that you're reading or seeing that maybe I think it's the depth at left tackle, maybe the interior of the offensive line could be an issue if Brandon Glasgow does not have a good season. I do think the offensive line could be a strength, but also something to monitor as camp progresses.
Okay. I'm glad you brought that up, Doc, because that's something that I actually talked to Jeff about today. We ran into Will Birchfield, and something I've been preaching was with this Graham and Tate Ratledge thing, and he actually brought it up to us and mentioned it as well. I don't like the fact, and you could correct me here, Doc, I don't like the fact that Graham's at center right now, because I think you actually put it out that in day one with the pads, he didn't look that great. Like he didn't have a great day. And in my opinion, Tate Ratledge, no matter what's, going to be your starting center at some point this year of the future. Not just this, of the future. So the fact that Graham comes out a couple days ago and says, I loved playing right, I'm glad to be at right guard. I don't see the reason why. And listen, I don't get paid I'm not a coach. I don't get paid to be there and make those decisions, but I don't see a reason why you have a rookie center, essentially. It's going to be your future center. Why are you taking snaps away from him and valuable reps? That's how I personally look at it. And especially if Graham goes out there and says, I want to be a right guard, like I enjoy being right guard. And I know today he had mentioned that he will play center. He's fine with that. And he feels comfortable there. But listen, if that's going to be your starting center, no matter what, you get Tate back there. That's my biggest concern right now is them getting that off. You saw today, there was a lot of times, even when Kyle Allen was, the O-line isn't at its best right now. Like they are getting pushed back. Jared Goff, there was multiple times he would have been just blown up. So that's something they need to figure out, whether they feel like it's going good or not. There's still parts of this offensive line that when I was out there today, you could definitely tell they're trying to figure this thing out. Why not do it with Tate at center?
No doubt. Yeah, no, very fair. Right now, dark clouds.
Are you good over there, Doc?
It's Sterling. I'm in Sterling Heights, where the studio is. It's pure black out there, so we're gonna stay on the air for 5-10 more minutes, or until the internet gets, because the power here at the office, the power goes out pretty quickly. So luckily, we got some great opinions from you, and we'll stay until I foreshadow once it starts with the big boom, because I guess a local resident here said it came down pretty tough. I feel like the power is going to go out. So we'll see. We won't put that out there, but I do want to address that concern. Look, he's a veteran. Graham Glasgow, it's still early in camp. You still go with a veteran, but you don't have to stay with it long if Tate Ratledge develops quickly. He's just not 100% ready to handle the full load to be the center, because you're going to play some good defensive tackles this season. And they're going to blitz, they're going to pressure, they're going to make the young guy prove his mettle. And if you make one mistake, that's going to be a disaster for the offense if one gets through and something happens to Jared Goff. So something to monitor.
Can I throw this out there too? Because, and I'm not going to give credit to Will for this, Will Birchfield, because he actually made a great point about that, because it is fair. You don't want to throw the rookie in the fire right away. The point he brings up is, hey, you don't want this team to be playing the best football September, October. You're looking for that November, December, January, specifically December, January. What does it matter if you throw Tate in there September, October? That's not when you at all you want to play your best football. So why not get him in there? And if he's going to struggle a little bit to start, why not just get it out of the way right away? Because if it ends up being December, January, and you have to throw him at center, then you're going to go through those struggles, right? Why not just get it out? Because I do understand the people in the chat, people talking about, hey, Graham, I feel comfortable with Graham at center. He's a vet. I get that, but you have Graham right next to him helping him out at the end of the day. You might as well throw him in the fire, let him get better. So when December and the playoffs come around, Tate is ready to go, and there's no hiccups. So that was a great point that I kind of wasn't.
No, it's true,
about.
but you know how the lines operate. They want their guys to have confidence, and so practice. You don't want the first couple of guys with the Packers and Ravens and Bears. You don't want. You think Ben Johnson would be and the defensive coordinator of the Bears would not try to attack the young rookie and try to figure out some weaknesses. You want him to have confidence, and so that's where the balance is. And you're absolutely right. There is something to say about gaining experience, but it's tough to gain experience at the National Football League level. That's the tough part, is because when you make mistakes, you lose confidence, and you could impact the offense. The offense is looking to get off to a good start. You have a real solid chance to get off to a 2-0 start before the Ravens game. So that's why I always looked at, and when I've always come on your show at Crunchtime, I've always said, I just feel like coaches like veterans. So it's going to be something to watch. Who starts at center? Something to watch, as now Graham Glasgow has been the center for the last couple of days. Jamison Williams, bro, he has a chance. Do you see him getting to that rarefied air every day? We're putting 9. Everybody's talking about him. Brian Branch said today, get your popcorn ready. So I know he's talking right to you, Booner. He's like, Booner, get your popcorn ready, baby. Jamo's about to hit that Justin Jefferson air this year.
Can I say something real quick? Not just about Jamo. I think the Detroit Lions are going to have the best trio with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamo, and Sam Laporta too today. Doc, has he been like that all year or all training camp?
Oh, that's why I love having you on. Booner, one of my biggest takeaways on X, on the website, is the tight ends. And I asked Jared Goff directly.
Shane Zylstra today too.
Your tight ends, bro, are playing well. That's been literally, I think you might have told me, but that's okay. I'm not going to ask you that question. On the website, which I read for, I've said one of my early takeaways is the tight ends are balling. They're balling. They're comfortable. Brock Wright, Shane Zylstra, Sam Laporta, all balling. What are you seeing?
Yeah, no, I saw today, and Jeff and I looked at each other with Sam Laporta, and people think that Sam Laporta, year one, second team All Pro, that was his kind of ceiling, and they're like, hey, we just need to get back to rookie year. I'll tell you what, if you were at camp today, or if you're out there a different day, and you saw Sam Laporta, he looks like he's on a different level, Doc. He had the one-on-one drills today with Brian Branch, where he hit Brian Branch with a spin move, runs for a touchdown and one-on-one, and then hits him with the juke, flies by him, goes down for a one-on-one. Hey, Doc, I do read your stuff. I have specific things on my screen here on my laptop. It is our Slack page for Crunchtime. It's my email, YouTube, show prep, Twitter, and it's Detroit Lions and SI. That's the 6 things on there every single day when I open it up. So I just refresh it. Boom. But no, yeah, I'm with you. The tight ends looked good. Shane Zylstra today, by the way, made some big plays as well. He's probably going to be. I know Brock Wright is usually tight end too. Shane Zylstra's fighting for that tight end 2 spot. It feels like, but I think people need to take a look at Amon-Ra, Jamo, and Laporta. Those 3. That's going to be the best trio of. You're talking about wide receiver 1. Wide receiver 2 and tight ends in the entire NFL this season. And I don't think it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be close.
Big time offensive weapons. I do agree. John Morton today kind of highlighted that the full arsenal's there. People are wondering, like, are you still going to use trick plays? And he's like, I'm just going to do whatever Dan wants. So yeah, they're going to be aggressive on 4th down. They're going to try. I don't know if they're going to try it as often with trick plays, because I think the offense is going to be very successful. I think the offense is going to carry this football team, score a lot of points, and then the defense will be there to make plays as needed and get some turnovers. And hopefully now Kirby Joseph's situation, I hope that whatever the issue is, we still don't know what it is. Hopefully it doesn't linger beyond the next couple of days. And look, we still got a month before the season starts. So that's what's great, is that these minor injuries that pop up with Ennis missing time and Terrian leaving practice, good. They're coming back to practice, handling business. And what I've loved is the Lions – core players are all getting better. Jack Campbell, Terry and Arnold, you've seen it now, Sam Laporta, all getting better. Where do you think this team has to get better the most from last year to have success and get to double-digit wins? Where do they got to get the most improvement? I'd naturally say they have to get their defensive line cranking it up and getting the pressures and getting the quarterback sacks up there. And I think that the pressures were there, but Levi's gone and the interior doesn't really get a lot of pressure. So the defensive line has to step it up. But anything else that you see that, okay, they have to get better from last year to this year to make it so that they have a successful year?
Yeah, I think there's two things. The one, what you said, the defensive line. And then I'm going to be honest, Hutch stood out. You could tell Hutch is a different level. Everyone keeps saying it. There wasn't many other defensive linemen today that I was like really like just flew off the paper to me. Ahmed looks actually pretty decent out there. He's big. And he's loud too. So he was on the second team, which is good to see. Marcus Davenport, saw a little bit of him. He didn't, in my opinion, I just didn't see anything where it was like just shocking. Like Marcus Davenport's dominating. He just looked average out there. What a collaboration. The Doc and Boone. I love that. But yeah, no, I think the D line is a clear number one. But if I had to go another one outside of what you said, Doc, I would have to say the corner room. If they step up, I think it's just between on this football team, the number one and number two things that need to get better is the defense line and the corners. If the corners are good this year and the D line's good, this defense changes. Everything changes. You're going to see a completely different defense. If Terrion becomes CB1, by the way, wanted to ask you, DJ Reed, was he, what happened? He was started the practice and then we just didn't see him the rest of the practice. Is he out injury? What, or are we blind?
No, you're absolutely right. He started the practice, but didn't do any team periods. So we'll figure that out more tomorrow. We talked to Dan. Today was John Morton. He's been out there, but maybe, like I said, these practices are physical, Boone. Yeah. You know that. And there's always opportunities where you get nicked up. And Jamison Williams, bigger, stronger, faster, guarding Amon-Ra. Tim Patrick, big, strong. Sam Laporta, big, strong. What was interesting, too, if you pay attention to something that was said that I thought was hilarious. Sam Laporta was talking to Brad Galley on Channel 7 on his on a video. And he said, man, Dan Campbell still wants movement when Sam Laporta is blocking a 300-pound defensive end or a guy. He's like, Dan's still like, man, Sam, you got to get some movement here. And Sam's looking at it like, yeah, but the guy's like 300 pounds. Like, I can't. Like, there's some mismatch issues. And the question was, what's something great about having Dan as your head coach and something that's a struggle because Dan played the position. And Dan wants Sam to win blocks against guys that are 350 pounds. I love it.
And Laporta can block too, so I'm surprised he'll get in there and get dirty.
Yeah, but to me, I don't want him to block. I want him to catch. Like that whole and same thing with JMO. I asked about Dan Campbell about JMO, and he's like, I want you to keep focusing on your blocking in the run game, the yards after the catch, all that kind of stuff. So the blocking is important. No block, no rock. But man, that's a whole other side of the game. These skill position guys, but hey, they're willing to do it for Dan Campbell. All right, I'm going to ask you one more thing before I get you out of here, let you promote Crunchtime. The great sweater that you're wearing. Always wear that when we talk. It looks good on you. And the Crunchtime program is doing big things, growing almost at 15,000 subscribers like we want by the time the regular season hits. So make sure you guys go over there. Crunchtime Sports, 8 to 10. You'll find me on Wednesdays at 8, having a good time delivering the message on their fine program. All right, I ask you this. What does Booner have on the agenda for Thursday? He's watching the Pro Football Hall of Fame game. What does he want to see? Clearly for me, Hendon Hooker, I want to see the offense move. I want to see less procedural type issues. What does Booner want to see Thursday night when he's sitting there? I don't know if you're doing a watch party. What are you going to see when I'm in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in the arena watching the Lions? What should I see?
Couple things. First off, I just want to throw it out there. I will be watching the game. I know there's a lot of people out there that are saying, "Oh, it's the playoff or the preseason Hall of Fame." We're not watching. It's our job to watch the game. I will be watching the game. One thing, the biggest number one thing, Doc, I am watching, and people might say, Booner, it doesn't matter. It does matter, in my opinion, with a contending team. I'm watching quarterback too. I'm watching Hendon Hooker. I'm watching Kyle Allen. They will be playing all game. I'm guessing it'll be first half Kyle Allen, second half Hendon Hooker, or however they they want to do it. But those two guys will be competing for a job. I will be watching from start to finish to see how those two quarterbacks play, because as much as people love the saying, if your quarterback goes down, the season's over, it's a false statement. If Jared Goff, knock on wood, goes down for a game or two with a concussion, you need to still win football games to stay in the playoff race. So I am keeping an eye on that. Secondly, Doc, I'm guessing that a lot of these defensive, outside of Hutch and maybe DJ Reader, I'm guessing Ty League might end up playing. I could be wrong with that. Rookies played last year as well. Terry on a couple drives. I want to see Ty League. I want to see Ahmed Hassani. I want to see this D line, the young guys. I want to see if they have any dudes. Cooper. I want to see Cooper. I want to see him play. I want to see some of these guys that are kind of dominating a little bit. Can they do it in game action? So quarterback 2 is a big one. D line, and then I want to see Isaac Tesla. I want to see Isaac Tesla out there on the field on Thursday night. I want to see if he makes any plays and how long they play him for. If it's only a couple drives, that means they're confident in what he can do, and they hopefully he starts getting first team reps out there. But Isaac Tesla is another big one that I want to see.
Absolutely. And I've been chatting with Boone here for the last 20 minutes. Definitely, he's one of the guys that's deeply, deeply invested in the success of Detroit sports. Started Crunchtime Sports after his intro into sports media. Now he's doing it on his own, doing great things. I've had a great opportunity to walk the Detroit Golf Club with this fine gentleman. And I'll say this, thank you for the compliments of the interview, because he's being interviewed by a fine interviewer, I would have to say. And Booner is somebody that, look, I'll give you your praise. You're grinding. It's not easy to do a daily 2-hour show, to grind and then to also cover sports, to want to learn, to want to grow, to ask questions. You humble yourself to try and learn and grow and become the best that you can be. And that's why I apologize for waiting this long to have you on. Should have been way sooner. You've graced me for 1.5 years on your program. We will definitely talk a lot more. You will see Booner, Jeff, Crunchtime Sports, the great fellas there, Michael, Caleb, Lucas. The crew there is just grinding, doing great work. And so they're the future, and they're doing it on a big platform digitally. And they were out there today. And what was the vibe like, real fast, last thing, what was the vibe like out there? Sorry, I was on the other side of the field and I big timed you, but I had to talk to some of the celebrities there. John Gruden was in town, so I had to put you on the back burner, bro.
No, that's fine. You should ask. And we shout out Easy. We were there with Easy as well. I was telling those guys I want to go talk to John Gruden, and they were like, "Well, we got to go." And I was standing there like a little kid at a candy shop, like John Gruden's over there. So yeah, no, I get that, Doc. It was good. Vibes are good out there. A lot of fans, man. As always, Jared Goff chants. It was hot out there today. A lot of people that watched the program coming up to us, which was really cool. That is definitely humbling to see the amount of people, Lions fans that are out there. So yeah, it was a good vibe out there today. I appreciate the kind words as well, Doc. We're pumped up. We love having you on Wednesday nights, and it's a blast. I look forward to Wednesdays every single week. When I wake up on Wednesday, I'm like, all right, typically I wake up on a show day. What do we need for tonight? All I do on Wednesdays, we have the doc. Don't need to do much. I'm pumped up to have the doc on. So yeah, we are growing. We do have next few weeks before football season. We have some changes that we're making at Crunchtime. Things we're going to be doing, adding, switching around. We're doing a lot of different things, announcements that tonight we might be making something out there tonight. I don't know, but we have some things that we're moving around. So we're pumped up. Appreciate you always supporting us as well.
No
hopefully
problem.
You'll let me join you more if I wear this polo.
Absolutely. Crunchtime Sports, digitally, YouTube, on the internet, on X. Make sure you follow, watch what they're doing. Jeff Iafrady, Booner, they're just leading the way, leading the charge for the young digital generation. They're getting after it. And they also have great takes. They have knowledge, and they're making their way. Maybe you'll see them on the radio. You just never know. Thanks, everyone. Smash that like button. If you don't smash the like button, I'm not bringing Booner back. So it seemed like ratings went up a little bit with you on the show. It was nice. I like to see that. Leave a comment on what you thought about what Booner said. What are you guys going to watch on Thursday? What should the doc be paying attention to outside of the definitely meat and potatoes of what I need to look at? What should doc be paying attention to? Leave it in the comments. Hit the like button. Let people know, hey, Doc and Booner talked on Monday afternoon. Booner, thank you so much. Detroit Lions,
as always,
on SI, Lone Wolves podcast. You know it, Booner. I'm going to go every single day this training camp. That will be my staple. I'm going to talk to the audience once a day, every single day. And you'll find me on Crunchtime Sports and a bunch of other interviews as well. Booner, I look forward to Wednesday, baby. Let's go.
Appreciate it, Doc.
Booner, bring it to you.